So what's that like?
Bang on, mate. Not getting any better than that.
This is Eliot. Eliot contacted me probably, a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Message via Instagram. Eliot's been out on a couple of roofs with me now, getting near the end of your college course.
Doing level 3 this year, so my level 3 site carpentry, and I'll be finishing that in about August.
You've done a few hips, have you already or not?
On the site about a year ago, I've done, well, I haven't cut one 100% by myself yet. I've kind of assisted and done the edge cut, but apart from that, first sort of,
You've done your mock-ups at college.
Yeah,
and
I've done my mock-ups on a little scale.
You're not using Daniel's square, are you, for this one?
No.
That's kind of heresy. Well, it's not actually.
No,
look, it's absolutely fine because hips were being cut long before all these squares came in, weren't they? So what are you doing? How are you doing it?
You'll see me, I'll use 2 bevels.
Yeah.
And now I've just done this quick drawing, and it's going to give me all the angles on the hips, you know, the hip edge cut, the hip jack cuts.
What's that, a scaled down drawing?
Yeah, this is a 1:12 drawing of this, just to fit this.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just been the way I've shown. I originally got shown it at work. It's how my boss does it traditionally.
Oh, does he?
Then that's how I've picked it up at college. Then through my tutors, that's how I've kind of learnt it. So yeah, I enjoy it. And you can. There's so much more to it. I think you can get like purling cuts. You can get a lot of stuff from it. I've seen in my books. I've really found by doing it this way, it helps me get an understanding of roofing.
Sure,
you know? So now hopefully I could jump on Dan's square, and it would make it easier. So if you were just doing a standard gable with no hips, so say this was taken out, and it's just the wall going there, like that, like just there, Roger.
So that gable,
this is kind of all you'd need to do to find your hip, your plumb cut and your seat cut. And then what I then do out here is do a variety of angles to do the hip.
So you're going to set your bevel up on those lines then, are you?
Yeah, so I've got just a little reference block. Yeah, all it is just a little bevel.
Nice.
And up here at the top, it's called the shape, the true shape of the hip.
Oh, okay.
And obviously, basically, because the hip kind of travels at a shallower pitch, or it travels a further distance.
Yeah.
What I've done here is that's the standard 45 because the hip sits at the 45 on a regular pitch roof.
Yeah.
But then that is not your kind of true angles. What I then do is project it out using the rise, and this will then give me the angle of the jack edge cut. So it's just a little bit different.
How clever.
That's called the true shape of the hip.
So if the plates were running out slightly, the measurement would help.
Yeah, slightly. Yeah. Well, I'll just do a slight. It's like kind of like Dan's charts, isn't it? That gives you an exact millimetre perfect. Yeah. Whereas the old timber. So, but what I can do is I can use that to double check I'm in the right area.
Gotcha.
You know, it'll only be a 10 or 5 mil probably difference.
Yeah.
Now that I've got all my angles, I've just gone round with my bevels and I've taken every angle and then put it on to a block here.
Oh, okay.
So these are all angles. So I don't have to, you know, if I did this on a big sheet of ply, I don't have to be running about with it.
Go on, hold that for us, will you?
Yeah. And if I do drop my bevel and you know, put it out of alignment, I can just quickly reference back. Yeah. Because obviously the hips you want to get right.
That's what some people say actually. They say, what happens if I drop my bevel? It knocks it slightly out and then I'm stuffed. So yeah, it's well worth checking. And that's a quick way of just checking it's still spot on, isn't it?
Yeah. Put the bevel on a bit of wood.
Yeah, I'll put my stuff in.
Right, and then with a speed square. So that's that there.
Yeah, that's 37.
Right. So it's showing 37 there.
Yeah.
That's your plumb cut, what you worked out.
Yeah, that's the common plumb cut.
So we're doing that.
I've got that's the hip plumb cut.
Which is 28 degrees.
I'll just get the height above plate.
Yeah.
And run that through.
The height above plate's about 129 mil. If it's a wider hip, where you're like, on this plane here, you're just working to a line. But the minute you've got a bit of width on it, you're going outside that sort of line. But with the height above plate, we just put that one in, it's not too bad.
And what was that, a 1-2?
But it's a 45 mil wide timber.
Yeah, and what was the height above plate you put on that?
129 mil.
129, yeah, so I'll try that in and kind of
I
can just shape
then
it.
If you had a rafter here, it's 129 mil there, all the way there. So because you're going across there, it still should be 129.
Yeah.
But what some people do the mistake of, I've worked with many chippers that do that, is, yeah, say that's the bird's mouth there and there.
Yeah.
Right, we measure height above plumb.
Yeah.
Some of them measure square.
Yeah,
And if you measure square out there, then you will be it's only about 10 mil out.
Yeah.
Because if you set my square up from an ordinary rafters bird's mouth and then pivot it round to a hip one, there's not an awful, it's around 5 mil difference that you normally move it. But the 5 mil we do move them. See if you can do it in one go, unlike me. Because on mine, I always do them more on the long side to make sure. But you're cutting yours by hand. Do you want to get it? Did you want to go on 100 mil or on the tape?
Just right on the corner.
Longest point. It's longest point.
Yeah. Okay.
Is it 3?
It's 300. 3 meters.
Is it 3 metres? Oh yeah, yes, yeah. That's a bigger rip that one down that end. Yeah.
3 meters.
3 metres.
Is that wet, that wood?
Yeah.
I tend to run a Stanley knife along the cut
Yeah.
just before, because even though it might just be psychological, I think it just helps the saw
Yeah, well, what you can
fall
do,
into it.
I haven't got a chisel on me.
Yeah.
If you didn't want to have it skating, you can, like you say, do your Stanley cut mark, and then get your chisel and cut a little bevel in, and then I do that when I'm doing like custom furniture or sash windows.
Oh, okay.
It helps your tenon saws sit in there, and it's perfect. So if you just get a little chisel, create that small bevel, and then that creates a rut for your saw to sit in.
Oh, okay.
You know, so that's how I used to go.
Yeah,
With just.
And once you've got your eye in,
you can
exactly.
get in. And then what I'm doing when I start these cuts, I'm taking it easy on the top and then sighting here as well. And like now, I can just kind of pull the saw. If I notice it going off a bit before it's too late, I can kind of force it back on track. But once you're down at the bottom, you know, once I'm down here, you've got no chance.
No.
So I just quickly looked, I could see it was going off a bit, so I've just given it a quick bit of tension, and it's just lining it back up again. Now I'm happy, I'm on the line. I just keep a little bit on it, and you know. And what you can do, if you do notice yourself going off, you could flip it and then just start the cut the other way. You know, give yourself kind of like a second chance. See it, that's going to turn out well.
Right, moment of glory. Eliot's hit, see how it's going to go in.
See it?
Is it the half a crown shot? Is it? Well, I'm in there, Eliot. I'm not bad back there. Perhaps got you a little bit. Is it what, still a little bit long?
Yeah. Got a fabulous little clamp, Rog. It's an old Stanley one. You might recognise it, and I haven't got it with me today, but it goes on the end of my stool. So then it can clamp the timber upright. It's got like a face on the top and the edge.
Oh.
So when I do like jack cuts, sometimes I find, you know, when I do this hip cut, I could have it lying like this and run it through like you do a skill saw, but some people cut it like, but I kind of like to be over it.
I know.
And with that clamp, you can move it so the cut line is straight. You know what I mean? Obviously, if your plumb cuts, you have to tilt over, but with that clamp, you can hold it at the perfect, so it makes it easier.
Now you're going to do one with Dan Square, yeah?
Yeah.
Have you used this square before or not?
I've used it at college, but because they're 4-inch timbers, I couldn't really get all the way through. But I haven't used this on a proper roof yet. No.
Well, this is the first time, and you're doing the hip, which is slightly different.
Yeah. Bit
so
more
you know what the common rafter angle is?
Yeah, 37 degrees. The pitch
Right. So let's have a look then. Go on.
So basically, put 37.
On the outer hip.
It's already set up from red one earlier. So put 37 on there, and that's it. That's ready.
And that's ready to the plumb cut. Your standard square's just too thin, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'll just mark that
area. Coming in. This is when you're glad you got the tin lid.
Yeah.
We've had a few comments that there's another way of measuring out the hips, yeah?
Yes.
So what is that then?
There's a few ways, but what we're going to do this time is we're going to measure the height above plate from the bottom of the hip up to a line. Then we're going to put that at the top there. So then when that hip comes down and sits on the plate, that is now parallel, running at the same plane as the hip, but it'll all be sticking above parallel how much we want it. And then we can mark it plumb and drop it straight down. Okay. So we'll explain it more when it's in situ.
Yeah, so that is basically how it's going to be now. So because we want to scribe it in, and the thickness of the bird's mouth that we cut out is 92 mil, the height above plate is 129, but minus that from the whole thickness of the timber on the plumb cut, it gives you 92 mil. So then I've marked this 92 mil, and popped it up above 92 mil because I want the end down there to drop by that much. So technically it's parallel. It's parallel to the pitch.
So because we're going down 92, we've added 92 up there.
When you do that, what does that mean? How far? When you're saying the position of the lay board, you pull it out at the bottom until you get that 30. You get the same pitch.
Pulling it out so I've got 37 degrees and fixed it.
Oh, brilliant! Yeah, because it's like down there where the steel, the end of it, you haven't got kind of the wall plate running through. It's a bit awkward down there, wasn't it?
Yeah, I had to put straight edges through and a line down, and there was nothing solid to work to.
It'll measure off,
yeah. It's like here,
off,
I've got nothing to work off.
Yeah.
So like, I put this one in at 37 degrees. I basically plumbed down from the ridge, measured out to the outside there, then plumbed down again, measured out.
Got your two end common sort of thing.
To get this in, just as a guide.
Yeah.
But I checked it with me little level, so.
Yeah.
And then Scott's going to get labelled in from that rafter there down now, and bits in, and then we grab a job for Eliot, a nice little hip in there. Look at that little one.
one this.
So, good day's work, yeah?
Yeah, yes, definitely, Roger.
yourself?
Absolute pleasure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Dan's coming back tomorrow. He had the afternoon off and come back and finish off that other side, yeah?
Yeah, I'll get the other side in
Side,
and
yeah.
on something else, I'm sure, down the other end as well.
Good. Well, look, I hope to see you again.
Yes, and you, Roger.
I'm sure
It's been a
that
pleasure.
Skill Builder viewers will be interested. How old are you, just for the record?
20.
20. Good
Yes,
man.
20 years old. Been
So
doing
you're
it 3 years now.
Apprentice
Yeah.
of the Year. Good man.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Roger.
Thank you very much. Nice to see you.